Hello viewers, in this video I will try to talk about a very relevant topic related to PhD research. If you are planning to do your PhD in any subject, then it will help you. So the prime focus of this video, it will be related to PhD synopsis. After getting a PhD seat, you need to do your coursework. After doing your coursework, you need to present your PhD synopsis for final registration. Without the approved PhD synopsis, your registration will not be finalized. Therefore, you need to have a basic knowledge about PhD synopsis writing, how you should approach it. You may be familiar with it since you must have written PhD research proposal, which you must have presented during your interview for the PhD admission or PhD seat. In the same way, you need to write your PhD synopsis, but here you need to do extra work. You need to go in depth. In the PhD research proposal, you must not have gone into uh, your intended research in detail, but the same thing you cannot do through your PhD synopsis. While writing PhD synopsis, you must be uh, aware that the half of the PhD work is already done. So that kind of thinking, that kind of mindset you must have while writing or before writing the PhD synopsis in any subject. I will try to show you the fundamental fundamental elements of a PhD synopsis. According to university, some things may change, but the fundamental things will remain the same. So let's begin. So the first thing is title page. You need to have a title page. You don't have to write like title page, but in the title page, you need to write title of the research in a very clear, concise, and informative way. It should not be too long. It should not be too short. It should be appropriate. It should be relevant, and this you can write or decide after your supervisor's uh, approval. And then you need to write your name and the department that you are doing your research, then name of the university, then name of your supervisor if it is applicable. In most of the contexts it may not be applicable, but if it is applicable then you must. Then styles vary. Okay, so according to your context, you need to talk with your supervisor. You need to consult with your supervisor and then finalize this thing. But the basic thing will be same as I have mentioned here. If you are uh, comfortable or if your supervisor approves, then you can also attach or include the university logo at the middle of the introductory or the title page. Again, what kinds of font you will use, it will depend on the university rule or your supervisor's suggestion. Then you need to also include date of submission, in which date you are uh, submitting that particular synopsis that you need to mention here. And you should be quite careful while writing the PhD synopsis because whatever you have written, you must defend it in the presentation venue or the ceremony. If you fail, then it may reject. Then again, you need to present it, or you may need to rewrite it. Therefore, you must be quite serious. First page is done. In the second page, you need to write about the introductory element of your research. It may take 1 to 2 pages. If you are comfortable, then you can sum it up in 1 page, but it will also depend on the topic you have choose or the supervisor you have got. In the introduction section, you need to write briefly about the background of your research, that you have to include it. Then, what is the context and what is the relevance of the topic, that you need to include here. The same thing you must have done in the research proposal, but here you need to go deep. Then you need to identify the research gap. What kinds of research gaps exist in your chosen topic? Then why your research or why that particular research is important, social, scientific, theoretical relevance according to circumstance, you need to mention, you need to evaluate, you need to analyze. Okay, so these are the most important elements related to introduction page. You need to include it, don't forget it. So the two, I am considering it as 2 pages. One page is related to title page, second page is related to introduction. You may extend it 1 to 3 pages, but try to minimize it according to your supervisor's guidance. But for this video, I am considering it, I am regarding uh, introduction section as 1 page. After that, you need to write about review of literature. Review of literature is an integral part of PhD research synopsis in any subject. You cannot avoid it, you cannot ignore it. Here too, you can write 2 to 3 pages, but again, try to minimize it. Only write what is unavoidable, indispensable. In the review of literature section, you need to write about summary of major existing studies related to your topic. For that, you need to do your own research. It may take time. After doing your own research, after reading about the topic you have chosen, you need to analyze it, and then you need to include it. You need to include the major existing studies related to your topic. Then you need to highlight key debates and what kinds of methods and kinds of findings are opulent, or what kinds of things are available in the research topic that you have chosen. Then here too, while doing so, you need to identify the research gap uh, uh, that your study is addressing or will address. Then you need to also show your familiarity with scholarly work in your field. What kinds of scholarly works have been done or have been going on? Those things you need to discover, you need to do your own research, and then you need to write it. That you have to do. There is no other option. Okay, after doing that, your review of literature thing is done. Okay, then fourth section, it is called, or it will be called as research question or hypothesis. Research questions or hypothesis, from the name itself, you must have got to know what is it. So here in this section, you need to list the main research questions that you aim to answer through your research. You may also include hypothesis if applicable. especially in empirical or scientific field. If you belong to scientific or empirical field, then you need to write about hypothesis. If not, then too you have to write research questions. So according to research question, you need to write that. Research question, you need to write at least 5 to 10 according to your topic, according to your context. And then number fifth is objectives of the study. This section is quite significant. Actually, all sections are quite important. So these objectives of the study section here, you need to clearly list 3 to 5 research objectives. What are the core research objectives that you have chosen? Without those objectives, your research will be handicapped. That thing you need to find out, and then you need to list it in your writing. Each should relate to your main question. And while writing the objectives of the study of your research, you must not you must not forget to relate it to your main question. Okay, if it differs from the main question, then it will be problematic. So try to avoid that. After doing it, you need to go through the research methodology section. Research methodology, in most of the cases, one page is enough. And in research methodology section, you will write what kinds of research design you have prepared, qualitative, quantitative, or both, or mix, what kinds of data sources you have intended to choose, primary or secondary, what kinds of methods you have chosen. It may be interviews, surveys, case studies, textual analysis, according to your stream, according to your research area, according to your discipline. It will vary, it will change. Then what is the area, what is the field of study, and sampling technique and size, if it is applicable. In most of the cases it is not applicable in social science and humanities, but exceptions are always there, so you need to do that according to your context. Then what kinds of tools for analysis you have chosen, statistical software, coding framework, etc. It may be countless, but you need to choose the fundamental ones. Then the most important is chapter outline. Do not forget to include it. Chapter outline, you need to give tentative chapter wise plan for the thesis. It is not fixed, it is not permanent, but you need to still include what kinds of chapter plan you have chosen and what kind of things you will write in those chapters. Chapter 1, in general case, you will write about introductory things. Chapter 2, review of literature. Chapter 3, theoretical framework. Chapter 4, research methodology. Chapter 5, data analysis. Chapter 6, findings and discussion. It will also vary. You may write 5 to 6. And if you are doing research in the context of literature, in the context of science, then everything will change, it will not remain the same. Okay, but more or less in most of the cases, this is how you can prepare, this is how you can frame. After that, in the okay, I have forgotten to tell you. Chapter 7, conclusion must be there, and then reference section must be there. Then, for our synopsis, references, work citation, or bibliography section is very, very important. So, here you need to use a consistent citation style. It will also depend on your particular university. It may be MLA 8, 9, 10, APA, Chicago, manual style. So according to your university rule or department rule that you need to write, and it must be quite genuine, it must be authentic. If you do any kind of error, then they may not accept it. Okay, after that, it should have been included earlier, but it is not mandatory. If you are willing to do so, then you can do that. Is timeline, means by what time schedule you are planning to finish a particular chapter. Optional, but if you put it, then it will be helpful for you while navigating the research. So here you need to mention a schedule when you plan to complete each stage: research, writing, submission. Here you can write. It is a good practice to keep the synopsis within 8 to 15 pages unless your university or your department or your guide specifies otherwise, and try to write in academic formal English. Don't use uh, flowery language, and you need to keep it focused, logical, and clear. Do not try to overload with technical terms unless necessary. That's all. So here I'm giving one sample example of a PhD synopsis. Impact of climate change on agricultural practices in Northeast India, a socio-ecological analysis. This is the topic that I have chosen as an example for this video. And here you need to write in the title page. I have already told you, you need to write the details of the research scholar and the university and the guide and the date of submission. After finishing that, you need to jump into introduction. And here I am giving you a very tiny example here, very brief. Introduction should not be this brief. I am just giving you example how you should write. Climate change is one of the most pressing global challenges with significant implications for agriculture dependent economies like India. The northeastern region of India, known for its rich diversity and dependence on traditional farming, is increasingly facing erratic weather patterns, floods, and droughts. This research aims to study the socio-ecological impact of climate change on agricultural practices in this region, with a special focus on how local communities adapt and respond to these environmental stresses. Okay, this is just an instance. It should be longer, not this much shorter. Then review of literature. I'm giving you some sample. Previous studies have examined the effects of global warming on crop yield, soil degradation, and monsoon irregularities. However, there remains a gap in understanding how these changes interact with the social practices, indigenous knowledge systems, and livelihood patterns in the northeastern states. Research by IPCC, TERI, that is TERI, and you need to also include the year. And Indian Council of Agricultural Research ICAR has noted regional vulnerability, but localized case studies are limited. These are some sample lines. Then research questions that I have chosen: how is climate change affecting traditional and modern agricultural practices in Northeast India? Second question is, what are the socio-economic impacts of changing climate patterns on rural farming communities? Then what coping strategies and adaptations are being used at the community level? Next section is related to objectives of the study. Number one objective is to assess the extent of climate induced changes in agricultural output in selected districts. So you need to select the area for your research. To analyze the adaptive strategies employed by small and marginal farmers. And number three is to explore the role of local knowledge and policy support in climate resilience. Some examples. And then in the research methodology section, you need to write uh, what you need to write. I have told you, so I'm just reading the title I have chosen here. Approach, I have chosen qualitative and quantitative or mixed methods. Study area, I have chosen selected district in Assam and Meghalaya. Primary data, I have chosen field studies, interviews with farmers, focus group discussions. Secondary data, government reports, weather data, previous research, analytical tools, SPSS for statistical analysis, and Vivo for qualitative coding. Chapter outline, I have chosen Chapter 1, Introduction and Research Context. Chapter 2, Literature Review and Theoretical Framework. 3, Research Methodology. Chapter 4, Findings and Data Analysis. Chapter 5, Discussion, Linking Theory and Practices. Chapter 6, Policy Implications and Conclusions. Chapter 7, you all know that there will be no chapter 7, means there will be if you have chosen, but at last you need to write work citation or bibliography or references. In the reference section, I am giving you some sample like this, but here the sample is not quite genuine or authentic according to MLA 8-9 or according to APA Chicago manual style. It will change, but for your sake I am giving you some example like this you need to include. Then timeline, in the timeline section you can write like this: literature review and design from 1 month to 6 months it may take. Field work and data collection month 7 to 15. Analysis and writing month 16 to 30. Submission and revision 31 to 36. So this is how you should go. Thank you so much.